Yo, what's going on? Spikes and you. Yo, don't worry about the don't worry about the little top here. I found it sitting around. I was like, hey, whatever, you know, we're gonna wear it, spice up the video a little bit or something like that. Anyways, look, we're gonna cover the enhancement system for the fixes. We'll cover the fixes again. We did this in the guide video some time ago, but we'll run back over the fixes again, and we'll just kind of dive into the enhancement system for those who have not dealt with it yet and who are trying to understand it better. You know, I like to help guides, make guides, and help out the community in that regard. So let's dive right in. So first, what is a fixa? Fixa is the little thing that you will find on the little icon that you see here that you will find on units, armors, and weapons. So when you see this icon, that is a fixa, also known as a preset skill. So whenever you see like a preset skill boost that they'll sometimes do, that's referring to fixes. These are just RNG. They will come, they will be on weapons sometimes when they drop, sometimes they will, most of the time they will not. They are a luxury. Always remember this. Fixes are a luxury. They are not needed. You know, it's more important to get the weapon, to get it leveled. And then, you know, or the unit, you know, it's better to just have it, get it leveled, and then worry about that, right? You know, if you don't have it, like, don't feel like you have to have a fixa, because you don't. You don't have to have a fixa unless it's like the versatile weapon. You need to, like, yeah, you need to try to aim for the terminal one that you get from the shop that costs 300 growth mint, right? But like in the broader sense, especially for units, don't worry about it so much. Just don't worry about it so much. And so you'll see those on that. You'll see those on units and stuff like that. So there's a whole bunch of different types, and we'll go over that here in a little bit. But first, let's dive into the Fixa Enhancement System, which is going to be over here at Lavona. Let's see, she's very excited. She just told us welcome. You're going to go here, and you're going to go down to the Enhanced Preset Skills. As I said before, it's called Preset Skills. They're also called Fixes. So, but when you ever see preset skills, it's in reference to fixa. So you can transfer preset skills or you can enhance preset skills. For most part, you're going to want to enhance preset skills. Now, if you do transfer just allows you to take one that's already on here and you can transfer it. If you have the same item, these have to be the exact same item. So this is a Neos Justine sword, as you can see here. It's a Neos Justine sword. So it would have to be a Neos Justine sword. It can't be a Neos Justine, a dual saber or whatever, or gunblade. It has to be a Neos Justine sword in order to transfer it. This applies the same for units. It has to be an octo. It will have to be a regular octo for you to transfer it directly to another octo. Can't be an octo, belta, or argo, or sheza, nothing like that. It has to be a 1-for-1. That's how that one works for transferring. Now, if you go to enhance, this can work a bit differently, specifically with the Neos series. This is the new one that was added, and pretty much this one's going to work as that if you have two blank ones. So let's say I have two gold perma armor swords here. I can go here, and then you'll see these pop up, and then you can just use those, and it will add a random level 1 enhancement. These are mostly going to fail for the most part. Oh no, sorry about that. And so it's a 10% chance. So it's not a very high chance, but it adds to the level of grind, adds a little fun factor to the game and trying to get those fixes. Because remember, fixes are completely a luxury. You do not need them. Okay. So it's just something there to be like chased after for those who want to chase after them, because they do benefit. They do benefit heavily. And so eventually you can keep trying this and it will eventually give you a fixa of a randomized one. So for weapons, there's a few different types of fixes. There's fixa attack, which increases your potency. There's fixa fatale, which increases your crit hit rate. There's fixa termina, which increases your critical hit potency. Those are ones that you're going to find for the weapons. For the units, there's a few other ones. The units are going to have enthusia, which is going to be offensive PP recovery, performa, which is going to be PP consumption minus, natura, which is going to be PP recovery speed, natural PP recovery, and then there's going to be guard, which is going to be damage resistance plus. Those are going to be your 4 options for armors. And so those only apply to armors, and the ones listed before only apply to weapons. So keep that in mind. But pretty much that's how that's going to work. What you're going to need for the enhancement system, keep this in mind. But remember, the transfer, it has to be a 1-for-1. You know, it has to be the exact same. Now, for the most part, it has to be the same deal for the enhanced presets, but it just has to be the same series. So it can be Let's see if I have like a. So we could just be a Neos Ashen Saber with a Neos Ashen Gunblade. They're both Neos Ashen. Also for the Neos Ashen series, this applies for the Neos Justiting as well. So as you'll see here, we use a Neos Ashen Saber. And we should have a Justiting somewhere in there somewhere. We have a Neos Justiting Gunblade right here. So as you can see, you can use either of these. You can use both of these. They're interchangeable for the enhancement one. Only for the enhancement. You cannot do this for the transferring of fixes. It has to be the exact weapon type to transfer them. But for the enhancement, it just has to be the same series. So currently, as of right now, there's no success boosters or iron preservers. Keep in mind that just because that's there does not mean that they will ever add something. There are things like that in base PSO2 where that's listed there and they never got any items that were added for them. I don't really expect them to add because I think 10% is pretty reasonable, especially considering how much fixes can boost, but you know how easily it can be obtained if you just really put the time into it. So I don't expect them to do anything like that, but if they do, you can check the comments and it will be pinned. We will keep you up to date with that. But we'll go ahead and try to run this.
Oh no.
As you see, that failed
Sorry
right there.
about that.
So it's a 10% chance. If it were to succeed, it would be a random Fixa. So for at least this was a weapon, it would be attack, fatale, or termina. This is what that would be. It's completely random on the initial one. Now, if you already have a Fixa on there, like this one is already Fixa 1 attack. So with this one, you need a Fixa that is the same level or higher in order for this to work. So you will want a Fixa level 1. So let's see, we have a Fixa level 1 here. So you would want a Fixa level 1 in order to do this. Idealistically speaking, you don't want to go higher because remember, you need to be the same level or higher. So you don't want to use a Fixa level 3 on a Fixa 1 because you can't go lower. So when you're on level 3, you can't use a 1 or a 2. It has to be a level 3, a 4, or a 5 that you can use. So ideally speaking, you want to stay in that same level range. So that way you're not wasting materials. And so we'll go ahead and try this one.
Oh no.
And as you see, Fixa
Sorry
attack
about
level 2 is
that.
what it would have become. Because it already had Fixa attack on it. The base weapon already had Fixa attack on it. So that's what it would have become had it succeeded. But of course, it did not. And for rule of thumb, by the way, you're pretty much going to want for your Fixa options for the weapons. For Slayer, if you're playing Slayer, you're always going to want Termina. Because of the inherent crit rate that Slayer already has, you're going to want Termina. And then for the other classes, it's going to be, it's usually probably going to be Fatale. It's more than likely it's going to be Fatale. Or in cases attack. But those are the ones that you want to aim for. For Slayer, it's always Termina. Always. You always want Termina, preferably for Slayer. And then Fatale is usually what you're going to want for other classes. Of course, if you're using Versemels, you only want Termina. Because, of course, Versemel's potential gives 100% crit rate. So having a Fixa that gives more crit rate doesn't make any sense. You can't go over 100%. So, but in any other situation, you would more than likely want Fatale. Potentially on seasonals where they're giving a whole lot of crit rate, maybe that would be the better option to give. Just go to Termina instead. If they're giving a like 35% crit rate on a seasonal, then yeah. But for rule of thumb, Termina will always be for Gunblade. You always want Termina in every situation, and then it will fluctuate between Fatale and attack for the other classes. And you just kind of look into that, and you'll understand it when you do more research on it. And if you weren't paying attention, keep in mind that it's a flat rate of 500 Meseta, which is extremely cheap. So it gives you, as long as you have the items, it doesn't really cost anything to bounce these out, to try these out, and increase your fixes. So this system was recently implemented, and it got some backlash. It's just a minor backlash, but everything in this game gets backlash because everyone wants things handed out to them. So don't worry about that. But like coming up right now, if you're watching this video right now, but this video will stay relevant regardless. But we have a seasonal coming up. Seasonal weapons are always dropping galore, right, from mobs. So it's going to be nice for the system because you're going to have all these extra seasonal weapons. You can just gambit with them for fixes, and put the fixes on on the seasonal weapons, because you're gonna get so many of them, right? So that's the real great part with that. So it's a great system that was implemented. Whereas before, fixes were just completely RNG. They had to drop, and that was that. So this is the Fixa Enhancement System. Hopefully this helps someone.
Come again.
And if it did, please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Leave any comments below, any questions that you have or anything of the sort, and I'll be glad to respond to them with any knowledgeable information that I do have. Remember, if anything changes in this regard, if they add any item preservers or anything like that of the such, then those will be pinned in the comments below. So appreciate you. Have a great rest of your day, week, whatever. Holla. Spikesu content.